Students, so once again welcome back. So today we are going to continue our chapter in accountancy, that is chapter number 10, and the name of chapter, that is of very important chapter, that is of subsidiary books. Okay, because before this chapter we have already discussed about journal entries, about the preparation of ledger, right? So after the general and after the ledger, this is one of the very important part of accounting or the accountancy where we use to record transactions. So before to understand the concept of subsidiary books, we have to understand different way of recording transaction. If we are talking about the business or organization, transaction can be of two types. Okay, and these are, it may be the cash transaction or it may be the credit transaction. There is no other type of the transaction. Either we have to record our transaction on cash basis or credit basis. So on the basis of that, we can divide all the accounts, all the ledger into two categories. So all the cash transactions are recorded one side and all the credit transactions, they are grouped in different categories. Okay, for the practice, that journal, whatever journal entries we have learned, just like debit and credit, that we use to divide in different part, that is called subdivision of journals, and these subdivision of journals are done through the subsidiary books. Okay, so basically that is good for the business organization where we can record all the transactions repetitively, and that is sufficiently large in the numbers because we have to maintain different types of the books. Okay, so here in the business organization, each one of the subsidiary book, that is a special journal, and that's why that is considered as original book of recording entry, and always that is known as the primary book of entry or the prime entry book. Okay, so here as usual we can divide our journal entry on the basis of journal on the basis of their entries. It may be of 7 or 8 type, so that we are going to continue, that we will discuss in upcoming slides. So here once when you will record your transaction in subsidiary books, it will be quite different of recording in the journals. But here again we have to follow the strictly we have to follow the rules of double entry system and all the principles of accounting we have to follow. So here you can see the kinds of subsidiary books. All the subsidiary books, they are classified into the different categories. As we have seen, we have divided transaction into two parts, cash transaction and non-cash transaction. So here again I have completely divided everything. So here we have day books, bill books, cash books and general proper. General proper, it means whatever journal entries we use to record it, that is of general proper. So here we have to basically focus in day books, in bills books and cash book. So now today in today's lectures we will discuss something about the preparation of purchase book. Okay, so day books. So what is day book? Day book, it means a book or the books where we use to record transaction day wise or the transaction wise, but we used to record only the credit transactions, cash transactions. For the cash transaction we have cash book, that's why we used to record all the non-cash transaction in the day books. So here we have different day books that we are going to discuss. First we will discuss about the meaning part. So what is cash book? First we have to find out the meaning of cash book. So this is the book where we used to record all the cash transactions. It may be the cash received or cash paid, anything can be, but it should be related to the cash book. Then after we have purchase book. In the purchase book we used to record transactions of credit purchase of goods only. Purchase of assets, purchase of machinery will never be recorded in the purchase book. Then similarly we have purchase return book. In the purchase return book, we used to record all the goods whatever we have earlier purchased and that we are going to return. Okay, so this book records transaction in which goods purchased on credit are returned. After the purchase return book, we have sales book and sales return book. Both are almost same. So in the sales book, we used to record only the credit sales or sale of goods, and sales return book, whatever goods we have sold, if that comes to us returned, then we used to record in the sales return book. Okay, so cash book was there in which we used to record only the cash transaction. Then after purchase book, where we used to record credit purchase of transactions, credit purchase of goods. And similarly, if that good we used to return, then we used to record it in the purchase return book. Then after sales book, in the sales book we used to record sales credit sale of goods and sales return. If sold goods returned to us, then we used to record in the sales return. Then after we have bills receivable book, bills payable book and general proper. So in bills receivable book, we used to record all the data related to bills. Okay, so this book records the bill of exchange whose amounts are receivables, because we have earlier seen bills receivable and bills payable. So these are also a kind of instrument by which we use in business organizations towards towards our towards, or that we can say as our promising words. If we have purchased goods, then in that case we need to make payment, and for that payment we can issue bills payable. And similarly, if we have sold goods, so we can receive bills receivable from our debtor. So bills receivable, that is a kind of instrument whose amount we use to receive later on or after the specific date. And similarly, bills payable, that is book or the bills which amount we use to pay after the specific date or on the specific date. And similarly, we have general proper, and in the general proper we record all those transactions which have no separate subsidiary books. Okay, so simply we can say all the transactions for which we don't have any kind of different books, that we used to record in the general propers. So after these generals and alls, we have lot of advantages and disadvantages of all these books. So first we will discuss about the advantages. So the first and very important advantages of subsidiary books, that is of division of labor. Division of labor, it means entire work can be divided in between different employees. So we can assign duties in between the different employees, just like entries regarding the purchase can be recorded by another person, entries regarding regarding sales can be recorded by another person. Okay, so that we can divide, that is called division of labor. So it will make our work more efficient. Okay, then next, and the very important thing, efficiency. It can increase the working efficiency of the employees. In the business organization, basically we have two things. First is effectiveness and second one is efficiency. Okay, so efficiency, it means it will reduce the workload of their employees and it will save our time and stationery also, and it will make specialized any person, because if one person is going to record one type of transaction toward, just like only any employee used to record only transaction related to purchase, so that person will be very efficient of recording of purchase transactions. Then next, it helps us to prevent errors and fraud. If one person is going to record entries in one book, then there will be very less chances of any fraud or the error of recording transactions. Then after these three advantages, we have next one of easy reference. Easily you can check your reference towards your transactions. Okay, it may be the sales book or the purchase book, and on the basis of subsidiary books, easily we can post our transactions. Okay, posting may be very easy on the basis of subsidiary books. So let's continue with very important transaction, and you need to focus lot for your purchase book. So here we have purchase book. Purchase book, that is a important subsidiary book in which only credit purchase of transactions are recorded. Just remember, in purchase book we used to record credit purchase of goods only, not the credit purchase of items or not the cash purchase of goods or any kind of assets are recorded here. So here once when you will purchase goods, definitely we need to mention the name of seller. So always we have to debit purchase account. Okay, every time we have to debit our purchase account. So here we have to mention the party of credit. So party should be the credit. Okay. So once here when you will record transaction, every time we have to mention the invoice number, because all the purchase we do on the basis of invoice, that is a kind of bill. On the basis of invoice we check each and every detail. So here because in each invoice or the bill having all the contents, all the details towards their goods, just like detail about the goods like their quantity, quality, rates and the amount of discount and net amount to be payable. Each and everything we used to mention in the purchase book. So here we have format format of purchase book that you can see. So here first, and these columns may be changed according to the questions. Okay class, but for the general type of the questions we have this format. What are the contents? First we have date column, second we have particulars column, third we have invoice number, I number, that is of invoice number, fourth we have LF number, that is of ledger folio number. Then fifth column we have detail amount. Then next we have amount of total, and last we have column to put any kind of remark towards the transactions. Okay, these are our columns, these are our things which we have to discuss. So let's check what things we have to write and in which column. First we have date column. So date represents the date on which the transactions took place. Okay, now in the date column we have to mention the date, and second we have particular column. So remember, in particular column we used to mention name of the seller. We do not use any kind of two words or bywords. Just like when you will purchase goods from someone, so for that we used to debit purchase account and we used to credit something. So here we don't have to credit anything, simply we have to mention the amount or name of the party. Okay, and in the column of invoice number, again we have seen whenever you will purchase goods, definitely for that purchase there will be invoice or the bill. So that invoice number, inward invoice number, we have to mention their serial number by which we can cross check the transactions. Then next we have ledger folio number. In the ledger folio columns we used to show the page number at the time of posting of the ledgers, posting of the transactions. So here again we have next of detailed amount. In the detail columns we used to record all the transactions related to the purchase. Just like if we have purchased goods, that we have to record. If we have allowed any kind of trade discount, then we have to mention. If any kind of tax is there, that we have to add in that column. Okay, so detail column, that we used to show all the details, it means all the additions and the subtractions. And in the total column we finally put the single amount for each and every transactions with the parties. And last we have remark column. In the remark columns we used to make some extra information if that is required. So most probably we never use remark column. So it was something about the purchase book. Hopefully it will help you to understand the format and all. After this we have one question that we are going to discuss. Enter the following transactions in the purchase book of Sharda Stationery, and we have 4 or 5 transactions. Just like we have to focus on the transactions. First transaction we have January 1st, purchased from Santilal Stores, Mumbai. Invoice number 480. 10 notebooks at the rate of 250 each. So here we can find out the amount. 250 multiplied 10 is equal to 2500. Second transaction for January 2nd, purchased from Red and Company, Mumbai. Invoice number 496. So here you can check, in each and every transaction we have invoice number. So what are the amounts? 5 dozen pencils at the rate of 50 per dozen. So total amount of pencils will be 50 multiplied 5 is equal to 250, and 15 marker pen at the rate of 7 each. So 15 multiplied 7, 105, that we can write. January 3 we have purchased from Bharat Paper Mart, Chennai. Invoice number 490, and 50 notebooks at the rate of 35 each. So 35 multiplied 50 you can do. The next 14th January purchased from Ahmed and Brothers, Hyderabad, and invoice number is 520. A4 size papers 20 rim at the rate of 210 each rim. So 210 multiplied 20 is equal to 4200. Then for January 25 we have purchased from Red and Company, Mumbai. Invoice number 533. 26 geometry boxes at the rate of 50 each, and 20 pencil box at the rate of 20 each, so that we can multiply with each other and we can find out the total amount of transactions. So let's check how we have to solve this question and where and what we have to record. So first you have to remember all these transactions, because accordingly we have to note down. So somewhere you can note down. So with Santilal we have make transaction worth rupees 2500, and for Red and Company total was 250 and 105, it means 355. And for Bharat Paper Mart it was 1750. For Ahmed and Brothers that is of 4200. And for January 25, 26 geometry boxes at the rate of 50. 26 multiplied 50 is equal to 1300, and 20 boxes at the rate of 20 each, it means 400. So total amount will be 1700. So now on the basis of the given transactions we have to prepare our purchase book. So now here you can see, you can enjoy your purchase book. So here first, on the basis of our first transaction for January 1st, so in the column of date we have to write January 1. So here in the column of particular, first we have to write the name of party from whom we have purchased goods, that is Shantilal Stores, and we have to mention the their state or their district, that is of Mumbai. So what we have purchased, that we have to mention, just like 10 notebooks and 250 each. Only one item we have purchased and there is no discount and any kind of information. So 10 notebooks at the rate of 250, total amount will be 2500. So that amount we can transfer directly into the amount column, that is of 2500. Okay. For January 2 again same, we have to write the name of party, that is of Red and Company, Mumbai. So you can see in the column of invoice number we have mentioned invoice number. For the first transaction I forget to mention, but here in second transaction you can check invoice number 496. Okay. So what we have purchased, so here you can see in the particular column I have mentioned 5 dozen pencils at the rate of 50 per dozen. So 5 dozen pencils at the rate of 50 per dozen, that is 250, it means 250 rupees. So that I have written in the column of detail only. Then again here I have something 15 marker pen at the rate of 7 each. 15 multiplied 7 is equal to 105, that I have recorded in the detail column. So with Red and Company, we have purchased total 355. So that 355 we have to record in the column of amount. Then again we have Bharat Paper Mart, 50 notebook at the rate of 35, and nothing is there, no discount and no another information. So that 1750 we will record in the column of amount. Invoice number as usual we have to mention. Then for January 14th again we have to write the name of party, that is Ahmed and Brother, Hyderabad. What we have purchased, that is sir A4 size paper, 20 rim at the rate of 210 each rim. So we have to just find out the total value because we don't have any other item, so directly we can record our amount in amounts column, net amount column, that is 4200. Then next we have January 25, Red and Company, Mumbai. So we have purchased two different items. First 26 number of geometry boxes at the rate of 50 each. So total amount will be 1300 for the geometry boxes, and again 20 pencil box at the rate of 20 each, that is of 400. So total amount we spent on 25th of January on purchase with Red and Company, that is of 1700. After recording all the transactions, we have to find out total for that particular month, just like 2500 plus 355 plus 1750 plus 4200 plus 1700. So the sum of all these transactions will be 10,505, that we have to record this side. So hopefully this purchase account will help you lot, and it will help you to understand the concept of purchase book, how to record transaction. Okay, so in the next class we will learn different books like purchase return book, sales return book, and then after we will learn how to prepare comprehensive purchase book. It was simple purchase book. Okay, so then after we will discuss over the comprehensive, that is of detailed purchase book. So पहले हम लोग बेसिक चीज़ें डिस्कस कर लेते हैं, then after we will discuss